So an 18-year-old Trump supporter was just arrested after bringing a machete to a Neptune Beach, Florida polling location and waving it around. This is not an isolated incident. We are seeing violence and intimidation and other illegal activity all over the place from Trump supporters at the ballot boxes. We also just got news that Larry Savage Jr., a gentleman in Indiana, was shown on surveillance. He was a precinct committee member who was folding and placing ballots in his pocket after receiving instructions about the validity of test ballots. The missing ballots were found in his car. You could imagine what would happen given all the accusations about Democrats trying to steal votes, etc. What would happen if you switched the parties in a situation like that? We also got news recently that an early voter was arrested in Texas. This was a 63-year-old voter who was asked by a poll worker to take off his Trump hat because it broke the polling site rules. In response, this man punched the 69-year-old poll worker in the face. It's not surprising you're seeing activity like this. Like, there was a tweet sent out by a gentleman named Mark Green a couple of days ago that showed that just relayed a situation where another voter went to a polling location wearing her political merch, I think her Trump insignia, and was asked to take it off because it violated the polling site rules, which is pretty standard rule in polling locations. In response, this woman called the poll worker a dickhead and told another to suck her "see you next Tuesday" word, and that this is why she votes for Trump. And so that wasn't just an isolated incident. It was actually elevated because J.D. Vance, the vice presidential nominee, retweeted this incident and said, "What a patriot," which shouldn't surprise people, is actually probably inspiring more people to do stuff like this. Stuff like what happened in Champaign, Illinois, where a physical fight broke out on Saturday at the Meadowbrook Community Church voting center, where a voter with a Trump hat refused to remove his hat after being asked by an election judge. A physical fight broke out among 3 voters as a result. The site also dealt with people filming without permission and observing the center without proper polling credentials. A woman in North Carolina released a video, and she said she was a second-time voter. She went to vote early. She said she was called over by 4 elderly men who asked her for her ID, her voter registration card, and sample ballot. She then realized that one man had a Trump hat, and then he said, "Make sure you vote for everything circled on this ballot," and Trump was circled. She said she tore up the paper and walked away, and the men followed her in the line and told her she needed Jesus and that she won't have the right to vote in this country unless she starts bearing children. She says no one stood up for her. We also had ballots set on fire in 3 states: in Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, and Phoenix, Arizona. Don't know a lot about who the culprits are there. There was an Arizona man also arrested for 3 attacks on Arizona DNC offices for attacks that happened in September and early October. These may seem like isolated anecdotes, but they are not. In the first 5 months of 2024, 38% of local election officials that experienced threats, harassment, abuse, 54% were concerned about the safety of their colleagues and staff, 28% concerned about their families or loved ones being threatened or harassed, 62% were worried about political leaders engaging in efforts to interfere with how they do their job. This is from the Brennan Center. And so all of this is to say that we can expect a lot more of this as we head towards Election Day. And as you may notice, a lot of these folks are coming from a camp. And this is the camp that seems to be accusing other people of trying to steal elections or tampering with ballots. And from my read at the moment, a lot of this activity seems to be coming from the very side who's accusing others of stealing elections. This is inappropriate. I hope authorities charge people for any intimidation and any breaking of laws here, because, volunteers showing up to work these election sites and people going to exercise their franchise, people should feel safe no matter what their politics are. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. We'll have more videos up throughout election cycle.